Responding means that you've planned it in such a way when something happens, and it always happens. We're in a live environment, whether it be feedback or a mic that dies, or an unplanned source change or something like that. You can respond to it quickly because within your structure, you know how you're going to adapt. You react when something happens that you didn't plan for, and then you grab. And when you react, your focus is taken away what you're busy with. So if there's feedback that occurs that you don't recognize or you didn't expect, or you hear it, most feedback we don't expect, hopefully, but you get feedback, and characteristically wise, when you hear certain types of feedbacks, because not all feedbacks are the same, you can tell where they're coming from by listening to the type of feedback. Even on a large format stage with multiple microphones, certain kinds of feedback sort of lead you to certain elements on the stage based on the characteristic of it. And that's something we can go into at another stage. But when something happens that you're not planned for, not ready for, you react, you grab faders, you pull VCAs down, and you affect the whole outcome. And we don't want to be someone that does that. You want to be someone that does a responsive mix. And when you're responsive, you're also responding to what's coming at you. You're enjoying the mix, you're doing the mix, you're participating in the mix with the people that are presenting, which is your band, and you get to be creative. I really like the blend button that they've brought in for parallel compression, parallel EQ, or parallel dynamics and EQ on every channel strip, where you can now, for those who don't understand parallel compression, YouTube, but they've brought in a feature set which is very easy to use, which is really it's got its place, and depending on what you're trying to do, but that's really and it's something that everybody's used to on a DAW. Every plugin that you open up has got a blend button, so now it's just on every channel. The heat function obviously is something which can get a bit too much, but depending on how you use it, if you know how to use it, again, practice, play, but every single input channel has got a heat function now, which is really nice. That's just for some texture. I think from an integration point of view, I'm really excited about the Milan card that they launched to integrate with other protocols. And then one of the almost like favorites is just the onboard recorder, and playback. From a running a show where you have to run tracks, or you have to run click tracks or anything like that, stick a USB in, make a playlist, link it to snapshots. As you recall snapshot, clicks are running or tracks are running. I mean, that's a really nice feature they've added in. But the recorder element on most other consoles, if not all, is recording an MP3, low quality compressed version. On the S6L, it's recording a full 96K WAV file, and you can choose which two channels go there. By default, it's left and right, but you can then do, if you're running a show with a vocalist every night, and they've just launched a new album, you can run, mixed left and the vocal clean right, so to go into studio to do some remixing and stuff like that. And it just goes straight onto a stick. So that's a real cool function. So Dante is supported. There is a Dante option card for the stage rack specifically. It's a 16-way card, which if you mounted on the input side, you get 16 inputs. If you mount on the output side, you get 16 outputs. If you mount it in the center, you get 8 in, 8 out. And they did that for integration on stage with a laptop from a music director or anything like that. So that's the only place you get Dante directly on an actual card. The only other way to get into Dante is, like I explained it a couple of weeks ago, to go via a MADI, an RME MADI Dante. And if you do it direct, you'll be 96K, which means you only get 32 channels. So if you wanted 64 channels, you have to go through a sample rate converter, which is the DOT unit SRC. And then you can get 64 channels from a MADI card into Dante, which I suggest before you do that, you go into some kind of MADI router so you can have a lot of I/O options.